Welcome, Tiny Hands, Big Dreams. We're going to give you some interesting insights into our house build. This is the $3,000 house project. We decided, if you haven't been following along, to move to the edge of the Amazon in the highlands and the mountains, purchase a piece of property, kind of start everything from scratch, build up, the whole farm here, self-sustainability off-grid, have a great time at it. We build the whole house ourselves, our family, and we're going to do it for $3,000 in a nutshell. Now, we are not contractors, engineers, architects, plumbers, electricians. Actually, I sort of was an electrician. I was never officially licensed, though. I have done many a thing in my time. We're both reasonably intelligent people.
We've remodeled the house.
We have, top to bottom, like
Taught some stuff.
bones to facelift, remodeled a house. So we're building this one. And we're building it off basically what is already here on the land and a little bit of, some others. There's things we would have done differently.
No, we're not done. This is not we're standing in it. We're sitting in it.
This is a wall door thing. That's another wall. Shh. You got to picture it.
There will be more of these videos. I am sure of it.
We're not done.
But we were lamenting the other day how we had done a few things that maybe we should have done differently.
We decided to go with the gusto and build this flying by the seat of our pants, to use the nomenclature of our forefathers.
So we started with a hill. This was a hill. It's still sort of a hill.
Yes, and then the lovely wife decided to dream her future house on a piece of paper.
You told me, design it. And I went, okay, I've got graph paper. Now, I did not think we were going to use that plan exactly. It was an idea.
Look, the last time I said, you just go ahead and do something, I said, pick where we're going to live. And we ended up in Ecuador and Tennessee.
No, that was a decision we made together. You're the one who came home with Ecuador as an idea.
All right.
On me for this one. Tennessee, yes, that's on me.
And it was
It worked out well.
It was good on her.
Yeah. So I made a plan.
So she took and she drew out a lovely little house plan. She goes, all right, here's an idea. And she's drawn many of these for different properties that we've looked at and things and could work. And I'm like, she goes, what do you think we should change? Life is a series of trade-offs. Well, I want this room a little bigger, then that one's a little smaller. Well, I want the whole thing a little bigger. Well, then it's more work and you're going to have to flatten more land. And then the wall behind the house gets bigger, or you're going to dig further, or you're going to build a higher wall, or this. Well, I really want, then it's this. Trade-offs. Life is all about trade-offs. You have to pick your trade-offs. And we looked at it, and I really thought about it, and I went, actually, I really love it. I think it's like the coolest little house that I've always wanted to live in and never know that I'd never do that I did.
It's the biggest little house ever.
It is we'll get to that. That's an important phrase. It's the biggest little house ever. And honestly, I really love the floor plan. I think it's amazing.
I think it's going to work out really good.
I think it's going to be the coziest, greatest little house. I hope it comes out as good as I think it will and people copy it. And it becomes kind of a thing.
But because I didn't intend for us to use my sort of chicken scratch as the actual blueprint for our house, I thought we were going to redraw it multiple times with more detail, and we did not. And perhaps that was an error.
Line drawing on graph paper. Go. Build.
So lines do not have measurements.
They don't have width.
Width, yes. Walls have width.
First regret.
It was a decision. It wasn't really a mistake as much as we're like, we are neither one artistic or particularly good at drawing things. It's not really our strong suit. Like, I don't really want to do that. That seems like a lot of work to try to extrapolate this with then the dimensions of the walls.
And each square is a foot. And if the walls are like 4, 5, 6 inches, you're like, meh. And then you start to get like
Or you try to
parts,
put. I thought about putting like a bunch of pieces of graph paper together and make
parts
it
of
big.
squares.
But then if you make it big, then it's just awkward to carry up here. We're carrying it up here all the time.
Yeah.
So we opted not to.
So we started like, okay, well, if it's an inside wall, then we split the difference on the 2 rooms, and we just put it on the line, and then each room shrinks by like 2 inches. We're okay. If it's an outside wall, then we'll make the room take up to the line, and then we'll shy it to the out. The building will stretch just a little to the outside, and we'll put the wall outside the lines, and that'll help a little bit. And then you get walls that are both, and you're like,
Well, this wall we're sitting next to is both an inside to an inside between 2 rooms, and then an inside to this is an inside to an outside.
and that's an inside to an inside, except further down where it goes inside to outside.
It got complicated. And then we're trying to measure, because everything is each room is sort of its own different height because we were working with the land. Then where you're cutting in for each room, well, is that the outside or the inside of the wall, or is it the middle of the wall? Well, I don't know.
We have 6 different levels in this house.
Is it only 6?
It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Technically, those 2 are the same.
That's true.
Which is another bizarre thing about our house.
We're on a hill, and if we cut the whole thing flat, as is customary, the hill behind us would have been up above the windows. We don't want that.
Also, it was more earth to move.
It was also more earth.
And we already moved so much earth.
Right, but then I don't want...
No, it's a basement then.
Yeah. So so we're like, let's design it with the land, with things, and we'll cut some, but we'll also build up on the front side with a retaining wall. We'll split the difference. We'll put in levels. We'll keep it flattish where we move around mostly for ease of use. In the bedrooms, since we're in and out of them less, there'll be a few steps.
But the walls
were a big one. We constantly, and then we fudge things. We were like, well, this didn't, that's something. We'll just move this one 6 inches. We didn't. So number 2.
Yeah, there was number 2.
Those.
There was a post. Well, a post. There are many posts. We were trying to base. We have a few more posts to put in. We're trying to base the line of the wall off this one post. We kept doing it. We kept measuring. We kept thinking. We got a string. We're trying to sight it, and it doesn't work. And it doesn't work. It's not right. And what did we do wrong? It's not right. I don't understand. It finally clicked, and it dawned on me. We fudged where that post was. Instead of being in the exact middle of what will be a wall, we actually fudged it into the kitchen, so there was a little bit more room in the mudroom, because I know I'm going to want to put a freezer against that wall. Yeah. It's the beauty of being able to do that.
You get exposed post on the inside, which is lovely. Put little shelves on it. Like, okay, yeah.
And it's the beauty of how we're doing it.
And we love the freedom of...
We can change things, we can shift,
we can do whatever we want.
But if we shift something, it would have been cool if we ever wrote it down. Ever once.
So, yeah, a list of minor changes just to have a spare sheet.
Like mudroom post is this many inches shifted to the left, east, right? I don't know. Something, anything.
Yeah.
The amount of times we come up here and we're trying to measure for the next step, and it doesn't make sense, and we have to backtrack and figure out what we did a week ago.
Or 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
And there are also times where it's been 2 weeks since we've been working on it because of the weather, or because we have to butcher pigs, or because...
And then the weather, and then something else. And then we have to go clear some land, and then something else.
We are not a construction crew that is solely working on the house. We are also doing everything else that comes with life and homestead.
And starting a homestead from scratch on land that was not ready for it. Yeah. So,
number 2 was make some notes.
Make more notes of the changes. 3, make copies of those plans. We have exactly 1 original, very dog-eared, worn out, smudged, and
dirty.
The little blue lines on the graph paper are disappearing with moisture.
I think it's sat in the sun a few times too.
I hope it makes it till the end.
Yeah.
We'll frame it. Yeah. bugs, things, bits of lunch,
Oh yeah,
whatever spilled on it. Like it's
it's pretty gross actually.
mud.
Yeah, we could have made some copies, but again, we didn't really think that was the final plan.
No, we're gonna do that whole thing with pretty much one sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. 4.
4.
Are we at 4 now? We spent entirely longer than necessary trying to make what will be the floor smooth. Leveling it was important so that we had the right level to set posts to. That was important.
Yeah.
We did not need to make it so nice and smooth. I'm looking at it in front of me, and it's very smooth. I also know how many hours I spent smoothing that spot.
Yeah.
We didn't really need to do that because we have sort of messed it up.
Construction site.
It's a construction. I don't know what it was trying to make it nice to start with, so it was done. We also want to make sure it can pack hard the way we wanted it. Yeah, it didn't work out. It just didn't. The reality is that this was a bit of a more
Rough flatten it, call it a win, move on, come back later.
Yeah, make sure it's level.
Make sure it's level.
But the smooth, it could have had a little bit of bumps and been just fine. And we would have spent a lot less time because we're going to have to redo most of it anyway, because you drop a giant log on it, or you dig a trench, or you...
Oh yeah, we still have to dig a gianty trench over
I
there
was looking at the little,
to plumb in the second toilet.
Yeah, we have to dig up.
Oh, this is actually this section, it turns out, wasn't level.
Ah! Oh.
Yeah. This needs a little bit of just a shave down. So there's that.
Yep. Things settle too.
Things settle.
That there's some spots that have settled.
There's spots actually leaving it. Had we done it too quickly, had we just filled it and moved it, we would have had settling issues galore. Which
is probably a big part of not trying to do it perfect to start with, because it needed to settle in some areas.
And it rained, and we walked on it. We used the wheelbarrow, and it rained, and it rained sometimes. That being said, everything about the earthwork, at least structurally, is working. It has packed solid. We don't get very much moisture ingress, and we have sufficient drainage that if I dig up this ground, even after biblical grade rains of a week, it's still pretty dry down underneath. It's not mucky, which means we're not expanding. And we filled it in a kind of a wet state, just a constant layer with wet clay. So we don't have any expansion issues. The wall is as straight as I built it, just mostly straight.
That's pretty much how we're doing this house, is mostly straight.
You look at it, we're like, it's a retaining wall. Does it have to be to the millimeter?
Technically, Eli's room is no longer.
Yeah, it's not square anymore.
Or rectangle. Well, no, it was supposed to be square. That's right.
Word of the day is rhombus.
But you know what? It doesn't really matter, does it?
He doesn't care. He's like, my bed fit? Yeah, I don't care. So I said, I got this beam we were going to post, and I said, it's thick beam, and it's actually going to span the top of these two. I said, but it's too long. I said, I tell you what, if we overhang it, this is in your wall, it can hang into your room about 3 feet. We can hang a swingy chair from it. He's like, oh, I'm like, then you could have a hanging spot, of an actual, structural member in your room. It's totally good. So we're just going to build that in. That's just part of the design now.
And I think that's the beauty of the way we're doing things. We can change things as we go. If we wrote it down, that would be great.
Yeah.
But having the flexibility to do that, or if a room doesn't turn out perfectly square, who does it hurt? It doesn't really hurt anything. No. So that's...
It may actually, in most cases, be squarer than some of the houses I've lived in.
That's true.
Remodeling a house, you think it's square, and you get in there with a square in the corners and the drywall, and you're like, who did this?
It's true.
Yeah.
And that was designed to be perfectly square, I'm sure. Now, we are not. We are sort of roundy and wonky.
Yeah, we have all sorts of fun little things and stuff, but it's designed to be incredibly comfortable, open.
And we're at I don't remember how many square feet. It's small.
800 and change.
Yeah.
something like that. Mostly, well, it's 4 bedroom. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're mostly missing living room.
Which we don't really use anyway.
But that's the thing. Most houses have this giant living room with a TV and a system. And you know what? I grew up with that.
We haven't had a living room.
We haven't had a TV in 10 years.
True. We haven't had a living room at all together. Ever. We hang out around a table. And that's literally the center of the house is the table.
The kitchen table.
Because that's where we hang out.
Be a big, beautiful, grand, wonderful, like, farmy kind of table.
Yep.
And then we're going to have a little couch over here.
Yep.
We decided that there will be a little couch.
On occasion. It is nice.
It is nice. But otherwise, yeah, if you take a house that's, 1,100 square feet and you delete the living room, there we are.
Yep. Now the rooms are also very small.
They're not huge, no. But then we look at the biggest little house. So we get over in the corner, we look at it, we're like, this thing's huge. And we're looking at how much work we have to do to walls, how much roof do I need? Oh gosh, it's gigantic. And then you look at the rooms and you're like,
how do I fit? I got a bed, and my room is the smallest. It's my choice. I wanted a big kitchen, so I gave myself a tiny room.
A third of the house is kitchen.
Well, that's the fun of designing your own, is I decided I wanted more kitchen and I didn't need a lot of bedroom.
It views the mountains and valleys out behind us. I'll get you a shot of that because it's just gorgeous. It's going to be like open window thing, like just $1 million view, lots of space, both side counters, island thing, like,
because that is where we spend our time. Kitchen and table. And then honestly, you need a bedroom to sleep. That's it. The big grand bedroom is just not
store some stuff.
It's not my thing.
Yeah.
So I designed myself a tiny bedroom because it's perfectly adequate. But I stand in it and I go, it was the agreement of when we shift walls and move things around, mine can't get smaller because the bed won't fit.
Yeah. So if there has to be a discrepancy and it has to move a couple of Mama's room has to be.
Otherwise my bed won't fit.
Everything has to move away.
So they're not big bedrooms, but we live in tents, so it's all an upgrade.
Oh yeah, huge upgrade.
Now, this is not the final house. This is not the forever house, probably, unless we just decide it's just too much work and we'll just die here. It'll be fine. Just possible.
Yeah.
But we do have plans for a long-term forever house.
It sure is pretty over there too.
And it will be bigger. It will be different.
Yeah.
Be very different design. But we knew that would take too long. And the tents are already falling apart.
We're going to spend years building that one.
And this is also a good test. It's a good, all these things that we've learned, we will be able to do slightly better in the next house.
And eventually this will just be a guest house. Yeah. 4-bedroom guest house.
We don't
people
know
that
people to
come to visit us at the edge of the Amazon.
Maybe. Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else?
No. We'll have another update. Like an actual solid, we've done stuff with video proof.
All right.
Sort of update.
Put up more beams, more posts.
And that's why there isn't an update yet. Because
I hung the kid a swing. He's tickled pink to have a swing. And he's like, well, how strong is this beam? And I'm like, you could hang Vanny off that. And he's like, oh. Like, I'll tell you what. So I gave him a swing.
Makes him happy.
If I say it'll hold you up, it'll hold you up.
Occasionally I hear squealing up here. He's just spinning around. So there's lots of posts and lots of beams, but it is not the most entertaining thing to watch because it's repetitive. It is what it is right now. Next is rafters.
A few more beams, a few more posts. Then we're on to rafters.
And I think we'll get started on...
The rafters are exciting!
They're important, but they're not exciting. It's exciting to me. Every time something goes up, I'm like, yeah! But I don't think it's exciting to anyone else.
No.
But then I want to start on walls. We are going to start on walls boldly before we have a roof.
If you'd like to help out with this, we have a coffee.
It's coffee.
It's a coffee link at the bottom. We're trying to get up enough money to have a roof. We don't have enough money for a roof. Just We just don't.
No.
So if you'd like to help out, it's incredibly appreciative. We don't actually have an income source here. We're sort of just winging it.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
Yep. Well, hope this was interesting. Thanks for watching. We'll see you for the next one. Let me just give you a hand. Stop using your head as a kickstand. That's cheating.